Father, I need to hear. Need to know you're still around. Lord, my heart's filled up with fear.
Isn't it amazing, the road that we walk with God? When I was young, I had a real fear of heights. I couldn't stand looking down from a high place. I was really afraid of it, and over the years I've conquered that fear, and that fear was conquered with trust. And it's amazing to think that whenever we get to certain places, if we look around us, if we look at the physical, if I had to look down, I mean, I can see right through this bridge, I can see this huge down, I can see all the trees, and I can see the river at the bottom there. And if I had to look around me, I would never walk over. I would just stop there and say, listen, I'm not carrying on, I'm not going any further. I'll rather go around and I'll walk around, or I'll just turn back. And these are the choices sometimes that we face in our lives. We can either stop and just turn around and just go back, or we can say, but God, you promised. You said, God, that if we trust you, it will be enough. And then we can just walk because God said so. Not because of what we see, not because of all our fears, and not because of everything that we think that the result will be, or we think the strength of the bridge is going to be. We just walk because God said so. And because God promised me that wherever I walk, the bridge will be strong enough to hold me. And it will be strong enough to get me across, to continue the journey with God.
That you bow before and worship me alone. Lord, Father, I need to hear. Need to know you're still around. Lord, my heart's filled up with fear. I think I finally lost you now.
When we decide to study for a career, we see the end result, and we see the status, and we see the house that we're going to live in, and we see the car that we're going to drive. Or maybe it's a sport, and then we see maybe somebody tells me that there's a gold medal at the end of the Olympics waiting for me, and if I train hard enough, I know that I'll get there. And maybe I'm this brilliant 100-meter athlete, and I don't have a problem to train. I don't have a problem to study through the night if it's for a career. I don't have a problem to train really, really hard, because I know I can see the end. I can see the result. I can see that gold medal. I can see the job that I'm going to be in. And that motivates me to actually follow the journey and to walk on that route. But God works in a different way. You know, if we start seeing this picture that when we decide to follow God, it's only the beginning. It's the beginning of this journey with God. And if we decide just to follow Him and just trust Him with everything that we do, we will get to know the scripture in Psalm 139 that says, even before time, even before I was born, God had this plan for me. God had this whole route planned out. God had this whole journey for me planned out. And when I go within His will, then I start walking that journey. And it's always a journey of trust. Because we always want to focus on the end result. We want to focus on the final destination because we want to know where we're going. And God says, don't worry about the final destination. Don't worry about the end, because I am there. And the question is, if God is at the end, if God is in the final destination, if He's going to be there, the book of Revelation says that when we get to the New Jerusalem, there won't even be the necessity for the sun, because He will be the light. So the question is, If God is there in our end destination at the end, how bad could it be? If the Alpha and the Omega, the one that created everything, the one that created the world within 7 days, if He is there, how bad could it be? So what if we took our focus off the end result and we start focusing on the journey and the trust with God? And that's the trust that we have to have in God, because even though we know the end destination, we can't see it, and it's like this trust relationship, this trust route, and this journey that we're walking with God. And He says, you can just trust me for the next step, and that is enough. Don't worry about the rest, because you're on your way to the final destination. And on this way to the final destination, there will be different kinds of weather on your journey. There will be uphills, there will be downhills. But God says He will always give you enough to be able to handle it. He will always give you enough to be able to get through the day and to get to tomorrow. And what beautiful thing to know that at the end of the day, when we get to our final destination, we will be with God. And that'll be enough. But He's got this beautiful road planned out for us, and we tend to stop and we tend to give up, like the Israelites in the desert. Every now and again, when things got tough, they just wanted to give up and say, let's just go back to Egypt. Let's go back there, because we knew the result there. We knew what was waiting for us there. Here we're not sure. We've got this promise of a land that we're going to, but we can't see it. We've got all these promises of how beautiful it's going to be and how fruitful everything's going to be, but we can't see anything. So let's just go back. And that journey with God, that is the exciting thing. To get up in the morning and to say, God, I don't know, maybe today's the day that you're going to come and fetch me. Maybe this is my last day on earth, but if it's not, God, what do you have in store for me? What are we going to do today? What are we going to do together today, God? What do you have in store for me? It's supposed to be exciting. Every breath that we take, we got to know that God supplied that, and that's enough. That's enough for now. We don't need to worry about the final and the end destination, because He's there waiting for us. But the beauty is in the journey, on our way to the final destination. Because before I was even born, my dream was born. God thought of me before I was created. To know what God has planned for us is enough. We can trust Him. He knows.
Somewhere you deserted when I told you I'd be here. So why didn't you listen when I promised I am near? See now, I have carried you through when you were beaten by the world. And oh Lord, I have failed you too. Son, why are you deserted?
Be on this journey with God is so exciting, and every day is packed with excitement. Some days it rains, and some days the sun shines, but God's got all this excitement in store for us, and all God asks of us is just to walk in trust. Look at everything that I saw today. It's this journey just to walk with God, and some days you'll have this strong structure, this steadfast structure, like I'm standing on at the moment. It's a steel structure, solid under your feet, and some days it'll feel a bit wobbly under your feet. But God says, if you walk with me, if you walk in trust, that'll be all you need. God's got this whole journey planned. And all God is asking us is, will you walk? Will you walk with me? Not worrying about tomorrow, just trusting that God is there for tomorrow. God doesn't have time. God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God's not bound with time. All God is saying is, walk with me. It's awesome to get up in the morning and just know that I'm going to be walking with God. It's an awesome experience. Your journey with God. Do you trust Him enough just to walk with Him?
To the end of time. To the